Guys, thank you very much for watching our full episodes on YouTube. We really appreciate it. We've noticed that a bunch of you are not subscribed to the channel who watch the videos, so it would really help us if you would subscribe. Helps us drive our numbers up, and also turn on notifications so you know when a new episode goes live.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Welcome back. It's Oops the Podcast. I'm Francis. He's Giulio Gallerati. G, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, baby, we're back. We're settling into the space, man. I'm feeling good today.
Excellent. I feel chipper and ready to rip her.
Oh, yeah.
Rip her to pieces. Rip her apart like a loaf of challah. Challah.
I'm just going to let you keep going, dude.
Hell yeah. Lots to talk about today. I have so much, and I am ready to roll up my sleeves, which I'm not wearing, and dive in with you, my friend. How, anything to report from your end really quick?
Dude, I mean, it sounds like you're ready to fucking chipper and ready to rip her. So.
I ask you that before I dominate the conversation for the next 45 minutes. Here's something that I want to tell you about.
Please.
So my parents were coming to visit right around the last time we recorded, that night, last week, right?
Yeah.
So they'd never been here to our new apartment, which we've been praising and, singing the high songs for. My parents arrived probably around 6 p.m. Now, I've never lived in a doorman building in my life, and it's always seemed very luxurious to me. And I've had an interesting time adjusting to it because we have doormen now, and they're so nice, and they're so kind and helpful, but I don't know how to really interact with them. Here's an example. Okay. Every time I leave the apartment, I feel the need to tell them where I'm going.
I'll be back, man.
That's what I do.
Going to fucking Foragers.
I let them know I'll be back soon as if they're my parents. Or I tell them where I'm going and I'm like, don't worry, don't wait up.
I'll be back by curfew.
That's exactly. It's as if I'm assuring them I'll be home before curfew.
That's great.
And I can't stop myself from doing it because for me, I feel if I just walk by them and I'm like, good to see you later, I'm being rude.
Right.
And I want them in on my life a little bit more to make it clear that I don't,
that's great.
That I appreciate what they do.
You don't need to do anything more than just acknowledge that they're there to be polite.
But that's
be like,
so,
hey, ma'am,
it's so weird to me. It's so weird to me. I don't know why.
Dude, it's funny that every guy who's a doorman and who works at like a deli or grocery store, like you say, all right, man, see you later. And they always go, all right.
Yeah.
I don't understand how all right became. So if you want to be really cool, you just go, all right.
Yeah.
And then they say all right back.
This is good. This is true. and one thing I've noticed too is that all the doormen have their own, I don't want to call them catchphrases, but they're almost like sign-offs.
Yeah.
Small
talk catchphrases.
They have and they do it the same way every time. So my favorite, I don't want to say my favorite in case they listen, but one of our doormen that I really like, his name's Tommy. And every night when I say goodnight to him, he goes, have a good night. But it's not corny in like a Mr. Rogers kind of way. It's just his thing.
Dude, that sounds funny. Like every night when you say goodnight to him, you're like calling down. You're like,
yeah,
good night, Tommy.
Sometimes I'll go down there to say goodnight to him, even if I don't,
in your pajamas.
But we walk the dog a lot. Yeah, at night, one last time. And then we see him and I'm like, all right, good night, Tommy. And he's like, have a good night. He's the same cadence every time. All of this is to say that after 2 weeks of living in our new apartment, I had gotten to know the doorman on a decent level. And there was one doorman, I won't say his name, but, seemed totally nice. Didn't know, I would say I probably didn't know him quite as well as I knew the others yet. My parents arrive. They had driven from Maine to our apartment. And then their intention was to spend the night here and then wake up early the next morning and drive the rest of the way to Florida. Actually, across 2 more days. It's like a 26-hour drive.
It's a serious drive, yeah.
Yeah. But they go for like 2.5 months and they bring the dogs. And so it's really the only way to do it.
Right. Makes sense.
So they stop at our place. They've got the car out front. They're unloading, the dogs' beds and the dog food and all this shit. The doorman comes to the door to hold the door open for them. My parents walk in with their hands full, say hi to the doorman, introduce themselves. Right behind them, 5 NYPD officers walk in and they start reading the doorman his Miranda rights.
What? Whoa. What?
They arrested the doorman.
What? In front of your parents?
Swear to God.
Oh my God.
Swear to God.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
So they arrest him, and he by the way, how sad is it that you held the door for the people who are arresting you?
That is hilarious.
So my parents were there
God.
in the lobby, and they were like, they didn't know what to do. And by the way, have you ever watched someone read the Miranda rights?
I mean, unfortunately, they've been read to me before, so yes.
Oh.
Only once, but yeah, it's a surreal experience.
It's surreal.
It's surreal.
Because you've heard it so many
On
times
TV and shit,
on
yeah.
Law and Order and in movies.
Totally.
And then to hear it in real life, you're like, oh my God, I know that myself.
It's crazy.
I know it myself.
Were your parents excited by this?
They were a little sort of, confused, and they were like, what the hell is going on here?
They're like, you should get a fucking a month's free rent.
I know.
It's a criminal looking over your shit.
But here's what had happened. So, by the way, do you want to guess what happened?
Like what he did?
Yeah. I'll tell you this. It had something to do with the building.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
With his job.
Was he stealing packages?
You're on the right track.
It's a good guess.
Think about what would doormen have access to in terms of like that they might steal.
Chris? Yeah.
I just remembered now that you said this, when I came in to come up and set up for the podcast, I saw 5 police officers in the building. So they had been there, and then they came back.
Yeah, he might not have been
wasn't
here
working yet.
when and they were coming looking. Yeah.
Okay, maybe like their fresh direct orders. He was like taking bananas.
No, I mean, I love bananas as much as the next doorman.
You know,
but
nature's perfect fruit. You don't even got to rinse it. You just fucking take it,
really,
peel it underneath the desk.
God's power bar. It really is. It's really a fantastic snack.
I'm so curious. What did he do?
So, okay, at Christmas, people bring envelopes of cash for the doorman.
Yes.
And apparently last year, someone had brought one envelope, and they all split them up. They share it, right? But they gave it to this guy with the intention that it would be spread across the 4 doormen. And he just there's a camera, and he just took the cash out, ripped up the envelope, threw it away, and kept all the cash for himself. But they caught him doing that, and they were like, all right, this is your last chance. If you do this again,
oh, whoa.
you're in
Okay.
trouble.
So
that was last Christmas. This Christmas, apparently, someone gave checks to all the doormen, right?
Oh, boy.
Individual checks. And then on his check, he turned the 1 into a 4, added a 0, and deposited himself a $4,000 check
Whoa.
from a tenant in the building.
Wow.
Which is so stupid that it's
so
like
dumb.
almost smart. I don't.
Dude, that's really dumb. That's
It
like,
is really dumb.
catch
And
me
in
if
the-
you can, but like the complete opposite.
Well, in the place that you the thing is, you can do that. You just can't come to work anymore. That needs to be the money that finances your flight to Puerto Rico,
Damn,
where you will
dude.
live for a long time.
That's like fraud. Is that
It's
like
fraud,
is
yeah.
that a felony?
Check fraud. Yeah,
Jesus,
I think
dude.
I think it's felony. Yeah,
Tommy
for sure.
got greedy, man. He thought he'd gotten away with it.
Yeah.
You know, a few weeks had gone by.
So that happened,
Fuck.
and I thought it was a wild
That's
thing.
crazy, bro.
That my parents witnessed the
What the
second they
fuck?
walked into our new, wonderful building.
Dude, my new shit with your doorman is I go up to him and I'm like, hey, can you say I'm here for your apartment? And then I say it's Giulio, and the guy goes, Julian, and then I'm like, yeah, it's Julian. So now I'm just Julian, dude. I just come and today I said it. I was like, I'm Julian here for
you bent the knee.
because dude, it's not worth the accumulation of 30 seconds of my life every single time that
Right,
happens
right.
for in perpetuity. Fuck it, like you're brutal.
I have my other friend Abba, very well, and Abba one night came over with his Xbox. It was before we had set up our TV, so we were having trouble. We wanted to watch something, so he brought his Xbox over so we could like, stream a movie or something with him.
Nice.
And the doorman, and then he left later with his Xbox. And now the doorman that he sees just calls him Xbox. And they have like a handshake and they talk about Xbox a lot. That's his name going forth.
That is great, dude. That's funny. ABBA actually sounds like a gaming system.
It does.
So like ABBA, Xbox, I'm like, that's tight, bro. Unbelievable.
So that was the first thing that I wanted to tell you about.
Awesome.
Boy, the Miranda Rights, dude. Nobody's ever read them to me, but I do think that would be an interesting moment where, like, I know, your handcuffs are getting put on, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they're on. So you're already aware you're in deep trouble. And then to hear this very, kind of, I don't know what you'd call it. Like just this it's so well known.
It's literally like You May Kiss the Bride.
Yeah, this incantation that has become so tattooed in our brains.
It's crazy, dude.
To hear it in real life would be a moment, I think, for me where I'd be like, oh, you got that right. Like I would judge
right.
their thing.
Totally. You immediately compare it. I remember thinking that it was slightly different than what I was used to hearing in movies.
Well,
and
we
being
never
surprised.
hear it past the first phrase.
Right. You have the right to remain silent.
Anything you
have the
say
right to an
can or
attorney
will be used against you in a court of law.
Totally.
You have a right to an attorney.
Right.
That's kind of as far as I know.
That's where I check out.
But there's more, isn't there?
I'm assuming there must be. Yeah. I don't remember.
Okay.
But dude, so I got a couple things too. So I remember like probably a year ago, maybe, or even less, I was bragging about how, anytime I'm wronged by a company, I'm pretty good at clearing up the dispute. And, getting around, not getting around things, but like, taking my best shot at like not getting taken advantage of in situations.
Yeah.
But your boy has met his match, dude.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So remember how I got that ticket in Texas?
Yes. Yeah.
So on my road trip, I got a ticket in Texas. I paid some like online attorney $95 to like deal with it. He's like, I think we can get this thrown out. The ticket was like $400. It's finally settled as of January. This is literally 7 months later after like going back and forth, like wasting time dealing with this. And then the guy's like, oh, so I was able to like make it so there's no points on your license. I'm like, great. Like I don't have a car, but okay, cool. And he's like, and they like the violation. So now you only owe $333. I was like, are you serious? And he's like, make sure you send a money order and make sure like did all these instructions. I was like, fuck. So I called the court in Texas and then like, you can just pay online, dude. But like, dude, it sucked. I was so mad that I went into that phone call to the court thinking, and I would never do this because it's fucked up, but like fantasizing about just being like, hey, can I like overpay? Because like clearly your fucking shitty ass town needs money.
Oh,
I would never say that.
You're going to Karen a court.
I did not say that. And the clerk was so nice that I was just like, thank you so much. You've been so helpful.
Isn't that amazing?
I bitched about it in my head, but it is, as it said in Harry Potter, your actions are what define you, not the shitty stuff you think in your head.
Interesting. That's a Harry Potter thing?
I just paraphrased, but that's where I got it from, Harry Potter. But I thought like a piece of shit, acted like a noble guy. I need to say that because my girlfriend, I said that to her. I said that out loud to her, and she goes, that's the most unattractive thing you've ever said.
Wow.
I was like, fuck, that hurts. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll just pay it. This fucking blows.
Yeah. Damn.
But dude, there's another one too, though. And I have to ask you, actually, this is a good topic, I think.
Great.
So I went to Alaska, obviously, in whatever it was, early September, and a friend of mine came. Now, I was really trying to push him to come because I knew that no one was going to come, and I didn't want to do another trip alone. So I was like, come on, dude, I'll pay for everything up front. You can just pay me back. I'll plan everything. He was like, all right, sick. So we end up doing that. So when we get there, the day 2 plan was we were going to fly from Anchorage to this town called Barrow, which is actually now called Utqiagvik, which is like the native name for it or something. But regardless, this was the deal. We were going to fly there for 1 day. It's the northernmost city in the world.
Huh.
Okay. It's in the Arctic Circle. It was to perfectly balance out our trip. While we're on our flight from Seattle to Anchorage, the owner of the hotel in Barrow, Utqiagvik, whatever, he messages me and is like, please don't come to our little town. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, the virus is like destroying our little town. Please don't come to our little town. Like, and I was like, oh my God, Jesus. So I started like looking into it on the plane. And then it's saying that actually isn't that much COVID there. But I was like, I guess I like believe this guy. He's like, take advantage of the Alaskan cancellation policy, please. Da-da-da. And I was like, okay. So I end up canceling the flights. I don't cancel the flights. We just don't show up for the flights. And I found out later from this guy, Bradley, who was like showing us around Alaska. He's like, yeah, those towns, they lie to people who aren't from there because they don't want people coming because they're scared of COVID. Like the hospital stuff is like far away, whatever. I was like, all right, whatever. I understand. So I call Amex to dispute it because I'm like, they told us not to come. And they're like, all right, no problem. And I had come off of winning a bunch of disputes on shit for like people. They like canceled my fucking flight to Greece and then told me I had to pay for it. I was like, fuck that, stuff like that. So I win the dispute and I'm like, great. So it was a flight for myself and for my friend. 4 months later, they rebill my card for both flights.
Wow.
Now, here's the question. And I'll tell you what my stance is on it. But I think that once they rebuild me for both flights, it was too late to hit up my boy and be like, hey man, they canceled your flight too.
Oh.
Can you pay me back for it?
Had you spoken to him originally and said, great news, we're not going to get dinged for these flights?
I cockily in the Anchorage hotel room was like, haha, yeah, I disputed it. We're getting all the money back, baby.
Yeah, dude, that is so tough because I understand your position. However, you are perfectly within your rights to explain the situation to him and have him pay.
Yeah.
You really are.
I don't
man.
think I'm going to do it.
You're just going to eat it for him?
I think so.
And then let him be like, man, my friend Giulio is so good at getting money canceled. You would rather preserve your status in his mind that you're like the king of getting flights.
That's not why I'm like
charges disputed.
This is the thing. The trip ended up being really expensive. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Alaska, but like we did a bunch of activities. It's like expensive to do shit there. And he already paid me back so much money that like it feels insane.
I know that feeling.
4 months later, I feel like the statute of limitations has expired for me
feeling.
being able to recoup that.
Well, you know what, Giulio? Here's the thing. The only thing, because the only thing you can do then is to make your peace with it and know that somewhere along the line, someone else has probably eaten charges for you or eaten money for you.
They certainly have.
And that the universe does reward that sort of thing. And by the way, telling yourself that may be a complete farce, but it's the only way that you will be able to move past this.
Totally. And dude, many people have eaten much more for me than I've eaten for them.
Yeah.
If we balance it all out.
And
over
so,
time,
and the other part of it is, for me, every time I saw this guy, I would just immediately see him as a walking debt to me until at some point
I don't see it
we would have a fight where it would be about something totally random and it would escalate until finally I was like, well, yeah, you know what? You still owe me $400. And you'd call him on it and he'd be like, what are you talking about?
Dude, that's right. So this guy is my friend. His name's Andy. He lives in LA. And I felt bad even asking for him to pay me back at all because I've stayed in his apartment in LA for literally months on a time.
Well, there you go. Then that seems fair.
The 400, I'll fucking stick it up my ass. I don't know. That was unnecessary.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Some debts are not worth collecting.
Absolutely.
All right, Giulio, I got something for you.
Okay.
I have, I've noticed that I've started rush eating.
Wow. Welcome to my world. Yeah. It's a bad thing to be doing.
But here's how it happens. Okay. It's with desserts specifically. All right. And, brownies really are a big one.
Yum.
So here's what it is. My girlfriend made us a batch of brownies and left them in the pan. So yes, they were cut and they were sort of, cordoned. We knew what the serving sizes were. We knew what the individual brownies were.
What's cordoned?
Cordoned off is like when you set up ropes to demarcate.
Dude, I'm telling you,
area.
man, it's almost like every single episode you say at least one word that I've never heard. You really have a good grasp of the English language. You're like a British person.
That probably
Hillary always says that British people like have a way better grasp of the English language.
But that's funny too because there are plenty of British people in Liverpool and shit who speak terrible English.
Right.
We just never hear them because they're not on the BBC.
Right.
So we know Colin Firth from the King's Speech and stuff like that. The point is, cordoned off is usually you hear that when it's a police area has been cordoned off for investigation.
Love it.
So I don't really know if that applies to my brownies, but that's kind of what I was thinking.
Fine, yeah, it works for me.
So, but here's the issue, right? She didn't take the brownies out of the pan and put them into a brownie tin. So what that meant for me was that the serving size stopped mattering. And I would take a fork or a spoon and I would do the slide. So one brownie would quickly become two across the lines. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I'm going for a whole row.
Right.
I'm eating rows of brownies. Whereas if they had been in a brownie tin and I were grabbing individual brownies, I would have known that one or at most two was my serving size and I would have stopped eating.
Got it. Interesting.
Instead
it's funny
of
those
eating
mental blocks like that.
That's
where,
all
like,
it is.
Sometimes literally the container or the fucking temperature will like dictate how much you fucking pig out.
Exactly.
It's crazy, bro.
So here's what happened, right? In the middle of the day, the first night we ate the brownies was relatively under control because I was under her watchful gaze. And I also think she served me. So it was a relatively decent serving. But then the next day around lunch, she was on a call or something upstairs, and I went into the kitchen, and I knew that she could, out of the corner of her eye, see the brownies that I was eating.
Yes.
But she wasn't paying full attention to it, nor did she have the ability to really say, like, slow down, you've taken enough, like, that's enough, right? So because she was occupied. So in the kitchen, I had a plate and I did the spoon slide and kind of like edged the brownie, edging, you know?
Yes.
And I was sort of picking it up and just eating from there. And then I added more onto my plate.
Yes.
And walked by her with a portion on my plate that would appear, totally normal, except that I had already eaten a bunch at the trough.
Oh, yes. That's a killer.
And I
had like a paint strip fucking row.
Yes.
It just reminds me of Candy Crush. You're just like clearing out a whole row.
Yes, exactly. You're kind of clearing rainforest.
Yeah.
And the problem was while I was clearing at the pail of the brownies, I was eating it as quickly as possible. Because I didn't want her to be able, with my back turned, I didn't want her to be able to see that I was eating there. I wanted her to just think that in one fell swoop, I was putting the brownies on my plate to take downstairs to my desk to eat.
Got it.
So that was where I ate very, very quickly.
Interesting.
And this is what my dad does. I've started doing what my dad does, which is that he eats a couple servings in the kitchen while serving himself.
I do it too.
The portion that he will present as if, look at my restraint. This is all I'm eating, everybody. But by that point, he's already had.
Yeah.
2 or 3 portions.
That's fucking, it's tough, dude.
It's a destroy the evidence move.
It's all for like across the board too. It's like somehow there's all these like mental tricks into allowing yourself to lose control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of them. It's like this unmonitored moment that like doesn't really count. It's sort of like limbo between I'm eating and not eating.
The clock has not started
and
yet.
you can eat more than what ends up actually being on your plate by doing that.
100%.
And it's like really potentially a damaging behavior.
Yeah. You're eating on the margins of time. It somehow doesn't calculate.
Dude, I gotta ask you a question about that. So, and this is the thing that I've always wondered. I've really been in like my body condition that I want to be in maybe once or twice in my life for a brief period of time. My goal is to get back there. And I start wondering, and I'm not like ready to think about this yet because it's not upon me yet, but I'm thinking about once you get to where you want to be, how do you have these kind of days where you like hit the brownies, but then still maintain your body? Is there some kind of strategy to it that you actively sort of like put, and I don't want to put you on the spot.
No,
but
it's
like,
fine. Here's what I would say. And I know we talk about diet and stuff a lot, but on that day, I immediately, like, I got tired from eating so many brownies. That was a midday binge.
Got it.
And by 3:00, I was tired and I realized it.
You're like, I feel like shit now.
And I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I can't even get through my work day because of how much I lost control at noon.
Right.
To me, it's the same as like me going upstairs and drinking 2 beers out of the refrigerator
Totally.
at noon. And I
Totally.
would never do that. And so what happens, the way that I kind of try to get it back on control, where I try to save face a little bit, is at dinner, I know that I can't have dessert after dinner.
After you have, like,
I've had my dessert for the day.
Got it.
And I keep what I ate at lunch top of mind.
Got it.
Not enough time has passed where I now have the fresh start.
Yeah.
You get a fresh start when you wake up in the morning.
Right.
It's a new day. Now I can have desserts again, but only after one meal a day.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. In
That's
my
my
head,
thought.
I've always sort of like envisioned this scenario where like I'm at my ideal body situation, and then like not having consecutive bad days or so, like things like that. You know what I mean? Like there seems to be value in like not like if I'm going to drink, like maybe the next day I don't drink type of thing. Like obviously you shouldn't be drinking every other day, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't really know, dude.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I love exercising.
Yeah.
And unless you can get to a place where you just love exercising, if you can do that, then you can kind of not worry so much about what you eat.
Totally. Makes sense.
But
especially like once you're in a place where you're in good shape. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if you're pursuing that good shape,
yeah, but
by working out hard and then eating shitty, you like stop your progress from happening.
Dude, you don't have to be in great shape to get a ton of exercise.
No, I know that.
To really like make yourself sweat and be tired.
Totally. I just find that for me personally, if I am exercising hard and not eating reasonable, it's like I might as well have never exercised.
Okay, so you need the two to go hand in hand.
It's almost like exercise doesn't even matter. It's like the cherry on top. But like I can build, once I'm like really lean, then I can like build upon that. But like if I'm just like fucking a slob and out of shape, if I crush the gym and continue to not eat well, then nothing happens.
Yeah.
And I know you're thinking
that.
in your head, you're like, maybe you're not crushing the gym hard enough.
No.
But there's something to also like, you know, you can only push it so hard if you're not in good enough shape or you're like hurt yourself, you know?
Do you like cheese?
I do in general. I haven't been eating it. Dude, I've went to this nutritionist and it's been like an interesting thing. I've just
what is it? What's your problem? What's your problem food?
My problem food is everything, dude. Like in general. Like so I'm going to say this doesn't apply to right now. The past like since I got back from the Bahamas, I've been like really good.
You look pretty good.
Thank you.
You see it in your face.
Thank you.
Face is lean.
Appreciate it. So anyway, but it's been a crazy adjustment. But, and I've heard you kind of allude to this before, you get to this point where like food stops being important and like feeling good feels better than eating something shitty.
Energy levels.
And just like, you know, you get to a point where you start wanting healthy shit. So dude, I went to this nutritionist who like specializes mostly in like pregnant women.
Good.
I don't know how I ended
Good
up
start.
with it.
Yeah.
But I got all these like handouts from her and she gave me all these suggestions. And I basically just haven't been eating dairy, added sugar, gluten, and like a couple other things at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel pretty good. Like and no coffee. I've been giving myself one energy drink a week, which is my fucking guilty pleasure. I love energy drinks. That's the thing I'm most embarrassed about myself is that I fucking love crushing a monster, dude.
The fact that you love energy drinks and you're not even sniffing the X Games. Like, it's such a strange thing to me.
Dude.
Because I put Red Bull in its own category, and then anything else, it's like you're basically saying I like sports that involve motors. Do you know?
Totally.
Like,
dude, absolutely.
but not big motors, not cars.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Motors that are, you have to pull something to start it.
Absolutely. Like sports where like there's a high likelihood of breaking a bone as you land.
Yeah, and then the announcers are always like, they've got the best medical staff on hand. It's like, no, they fucking don't. Are you kidding me? The half pipe at the X Games?
I know.
That's not where our best doctors are. They're in New York at Mount Sinai. Fucking curing cancer.
They're just in Portland.
These are
and decide-
decent doctors, I'm sure, but you don't get the best doctors in the world to go shiver and watch, Seth something fucking throw 1080s on the half pipe. That's not where our best medical staff is.
Dude, also there's only so much the best medical staff can do when you fall 50 feet
Yeah.
and break in half. The guy's like, I'm only a doctor. Like, I'm not God. There's nothing I can do for you, dude.
My advice would have been you shouldn't have done any of what you've done today at all, ever. That's so great, dude. Well, okay. I have some more stuff I want to talk to you about. We talked about the Brownies. Okay. Here's something. So I did the alternate side parking Thursday.
Yes.
I did it yesterday. And I was up in the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood of
Love
Manhattan.
it. Dude, I commented on your post, but I love you fucking taking it on the road.
Take it on the
man.
road. I want to see what else the world has to offer.
It's like Wicked on ice.
And the guy Pete the Sweep told me that was the worst block he has. He was like, dude, come up here. You'll see some shit. So I got up there, and it turned out to be probably the most orderly, organized thing.
Did he apologize? Was he like, sorry, man? Like, normally it's crazier.
A little bit.
That's funny.
He was like, I guess you got them all sorted out today. I was like, I didn't do shit. But here's something that happened. Okay, so I was wearing a new sort of cardigan, fleecy type thing, and the pockets are quite shallow. And I have a new wallet. And I'm not going to drop the name of it because they don't sponsor the podcast, but they should.
Dude, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. There's nothing like you're the most vulnerable to losing keys, wallet, phone when you're wearing a new article of clothing.
True.
Period.
Totally true. I completely agree. Especially when you don't when the pockets are built.
Exactly.
You're
not used to the depths. You're not used to the button, the zipper, whatever.
They're just for show.
You're not sure that if when you sit down, stuff slides out of them.
Yeah.
That's why, like on vacation, I feel like you're vulnerable to lose stuff too. You're using things you don't usually use.
Totally.
Whatever.
These pockets on this shirt, it's as if someone made the shirt and then someone was like, dude, you forgot the pockets. And he was like, oh, really? Okay.
Throw the pockets
And
out.
he just went in and kind of vaguely sewed a tiny little pouch. So the wallet that I have, needless to say, it doesn't have much grip. There's no purchase on the wallet. It's very sleek. And I'm out there in the street running around, shepherding cars and talking to the street sweeper. Sure enough, my wallet fell out without me realizing.
Fuck.
And then, based on where it was found, which I'll get to, I'm pretty confident the street sweeper drove over it. Because
It was just flattened.
dude, no, all the cards and everything within the wallet was strewn to high heaven.
Oh my God.
There were Starbucks cars in trees. There were subway cars in the gutter. Credit
Oh my
cards
God.
every which way, scattered to the four winds. It was nuts. And I didn't realize it until I got back in my car and sort of settled my thoughts and realized I didn't have my wallet.
Oh my God.
And I thought maybe I'd left it at home and I didn't know what to do. I went up and down the block again, couldn't find it. As I was driving away, I got a DM.
Wow.
I got a DM. And I looked at the DM and it was a woman who had found my wallet. She goes, give me a
Jesus.
call. I called her and she was so nice on the phone. And I drove back and she handed me the wallet.
Dude, the bright side of sliding into the DMs, huh?
Yeah. But dude, get
Love
this.
it.
Not only had she DM'd me, she had tweeted at me.
Oh, wow.
She was like, I found your wallet, message me back. And I think she had found me on LinkedIn. She had tried so many different
That's
ways to
awesome.
reach me to do this. And she also had, all the stuff had been in a different place. So she had like gone around and scooped up all the various shit and put it back in my wallet to hand to me.
Bro.
So she'd gone so far above
Guardian
and
angel.
beyond. And then she was like, we were talking for a little bit and she had worked in sports medicine at Harvard 2 years
Jesus.
before I was playing sports
She
there.
hot?
She was. She has a boyfriend. I have a girlfriend, whatever. So it didn't matter. But But I will say, yeah, this was a woman where I was like, my God, what a guardian angel. Like, what a wonderful person.
Wow.
And I was so grateful to her. And I guess here's my question. You know, are you supposed to offer a reward?
Dude, I've been thinking this since you started this conversation.
I
It's a
didn't have
really
any
good
cash
question.
on me.
So, dude, this is
I can tell you that from interacting with this woman for 10 minutes, under no circumstances would she have accepted one.
It doesn't sound like she needed it. Yeah.
No.
But dude, I mean, and it complicates things that you're a pervasive public figure, because, you know, you have to wonder if a person sees that, you know, you have a 6-figure following, fucking blue check mark. She's like, oh shit, jackpot. Like you have to think that under some circumstances, especially because people don't necessarily understand, if you're not in the like Instagram world, you don't necessarily understand that like following doesn't directly link to bank account swelling.
I'm just picturing now calling her and all I hear on the other line is, I found your wallet. Meet me at, like a scrambled voice, and post a link to my GoFundMe page, and I need at least 2,000 followers if you ever want to see it again.
Dude, that's funny. Oh my God, getting your wallet back for clout. Make sure to post my account on your page.
I started a mitten startup.
Dude, I'll tell
just
you
getting
what.
off the ground.
That's hilarious, man. I'll tell you what, as I've returned a person's wallet before, and it was like a shitty wallet that had nothing in it, and she gave me like $40, and it like made my day.
Okay.
And I didn't expect to get money, but like I imagine, and you know, maybe you're lucky, and I'm sure you would have been happy to give somebody, you know, $50, $100 to say thank you. But you have to imagine that there is a scenario where a person who finds your wallet specifically is expecting to get a little bit of a payday.
Maybe so. But she also saw that I had no cash in the wallet, right?
Right.
So it would have been a Venmo situation at best, which is, you know, already kind of weird and cumbersome.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I will also say this. When I was like 17 years old, I was in a locker room, and some guy had left his wallet on the bench, and I opened it up to look for, you know, his driver license or some shit, and he had like over $1,000 cash.
Damn.
Hundreds.
Damn.
And so then, first of all, I was at an age when cash meant a lot. You know, $20 was a big deal to me.
Yeah.
$100 was a big deal.
1,000 high school value is like 10,000 adult value.
Yeah, but so I knew, obviously I knew I had to return the wallet, and I somehow I reached out to this guy, or like I was going upstairs to return it to the front desk when I ran into him, and I was holding the wallet, and he was like, "Oh my God, you found it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, bring it to the front desk." And he fished out, I think, $20 and gave it to me.
It's nice.
It was fine. I remember feeling a little bit like I had my hopes up for more.
Right. 10 to 15% is like the going rate for that.
But you grow out of that. You get to an age where the good deed of returning the wallet feels better than $20, $50, whatever.
Definitely.
But at that, so I'm saying it's an age thing to me.
Interesting. And especially if there's an in-person exchange.
Yeah. You get to an age where good deeds do actually feel good.
That is true.
More than what, you know, having $50 in your hand would do for your day.
In an ideal scenario. Yeah, totally, dude. I wonder, like, so let me ask this question. Is there any world where you find a wallet with $1,000 in it and you're like, I get to keep the cash, and then you mail the person their wallet with no cash in it?
God.
I'm not saying I would do it. I know everybody's thinking that I would now that I just proposed that. But is there any world where that's like the way it works? Like, what do you guys think? What do people think?
All right. If we're going dark, I would say that I'd be more likely to just keep the cash and throw the wallet out.
Oh, wow.
But you know what?
Savage. That's like some no heart shit, dude. The rappers.
Why?
No
Taking the cash out and mailing it back
dumping
to
the
me
fucking wallet
is crazy.
Maybe, but if you find the wallet right away and you DM the person, you're like, hey, I found the wallet with all your shit in it, so that you don't have to cancel your cards and stuff. It's nice. And then you'd be like, I'm mailing it to you. You have their address on the license.
And you've taken the cash out.
You take the cash.
And so now they know who you are, and they know you've taken the cash.
They don't
out
know
of their wallet.
shit, dude. You found their wallet in the sewer. Maybe someone else just came by, took the cash, and left it there. I'm just saying. Not saying I would do it.
Oh, I don't know.
You play
dude,
dumb.
So you want the hero's credit of having returned the wallet
I don't want shit.
but while also keeping the cash without any blame for it.
I would return the wallet as is with the cash. I'm saying if you wanted to play that game, maybe you really need the money and you take the cash. What's the person going to message you and be like, hey, there was cash in here? Be like, oh, wait, remember that time when I found your wallet in the gutter, asshole? And fucking sent it to you? How about you fuck off? Like, no one's going to.
So you're
I'm not
already
gonna say this
preparing.
stuff.
If you're already preparing to go to war with this guy, then
What
there's
war?
no reason to send him the wallet in the first place.
Bro, this isn't a Tommy from fucking downstairs situation. This is is Tommy not the one? Tommy's the one you like.
I like Tommy.
Oh shit, sorry. This is the man. Sorry, Tommy. This is the man who shan't be named.
Yeah.
But like, you fucking found it in the middle of the night on the street, whatever. I don't know.
Okay,
Sad.
but here's my point, right? So to me, you have to decide ethically whether or not you feel that the person should have their wallet back, right?
Yes.
And you've conjured this middle ground of keeping something for yourself, therefore committing an ethical crime,
Yes.
a moral, don't do it, and yet also getting credit, like half credit, for returning the wallet.
I think that if you're willing to pocket the cash, you don't give a fuck about the credit. I think like ethics go out the window.
So, because this was my other side of it,
Mhm.
I would be more than likely to keep the cash, but then I would feel compelled to cut the credit cards up
Oh, that's nice.
on the guy's behalf,
Just so you can
that
sleep at night.
nobody would.
Right, so no one can charge their shit.
You are sleeping better at night somehow because you've returned his credit cards.
I'm saying this is all hypothetical. I wouldn't take the money. I really wouldn't. But
We know that. Neither of us we're taking the money.
if I say it one more time, people are going to be like, "You're taking the money, aren't you? You fucking piece of shit."
Do you understand what I'm saying, though?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So my half good, half bad is different from your half
it's
good,
a
half
net
bad.
zero, but it's different. They're both different approaches to being a piece of shit.
Correct. And I'm wondering whose is worse.
Is worse. That's interesting. Is it worse to send the wallet back? You're more of like a fucking rat if you send the wallet back and try to act like you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
fucking
really
slippery move.
conniving.
Yeah, that's
I
dirty.
completely agree with
Cutting
that.
the cards, never have to deal with it. That's like a more.
If you cut the cards, would you message the guy and say, "Good news, I found your wallet. I'm going to be honest, I took everything." But
no, because then
you
he knows
also don't need to
then
credit.
You just
Well,
confessed
from a fake
from a burner account or something.
bullshit.
Fucking Tor browser.
Yeah.
Hey, I just so you know, I cut up your cards.
Yeah.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Don't need to cancel 'em,
You
whatever
film
it
it
is.
with a silhouette. Dude, that's great. But dude, just so this is an interesting point about like ethics and stuff. So say you're a fucking guy who's down on his luck. You find a wallet. There's cash in the wallet. You have kids. You like don't have a choice but to take the money. Like some people don't have a choice but to take the money in that situation, in my opinion. Maybe that's cynical. Maybe that's wrong. But like, I think that's why, not to get like political or to make this into something bigger, but I think it's important, that you take care of the bottom of society so that they don't need to do shit like that. In a perfect world, I think most people are good, have like some shred of good in them that maybe is underestimated.
Yeah, but dude, then you have to also recognize that there are plenty of people who are well off who would
Poor
also
pieces of
take
shit.
the wallet.
Absolutely. That's a good point. Yeah, I guess that's true.
And
But that's just a bad person as opposed to a person who like has a quandary where it's like, am I going to take this money because I need it so badly?
right.
Does that make whatever? It doesn't necessarily.
No,
make you a
I
bad
get what
person.
you're saying.
But dude, an interesting thing here: if you guys were both single, the move in this situation, to reciprocate, you take her out for dinner. Hey, would you want? Can I take you out to dinner to repay you?
Wait, hold on. Yeah.
Or what? Yeah, okay.
I see.
If it's a
with
member of
with
either-
the wallet situation that
yes,
I find.
with this
Dude,
beautiful
yeah, I mean,
doctor.
Obviously, it's like the
You
greatest,
marry that person.
It's the greatest meet cute
ever, dude. How'd you guys meet?
Yeah.
It's almost such a good story that the people at the dinner party would be pissed at you. Fuck you.
they root for you to break up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
they
fuck
sure
you guys.
do. Yeah.
That's great, dude.
No, I agree with that.
Awesome.
All right, good.
Dude.
Awesome. All right, that's all for today. Let's wrap.
Dude, Oops the Podcast, some good discussion, some good stories, a well-balanced episode of Oops the Podcast, wouldn't you say?
I sure think so. We covered a lot of ground. We unpacked a lot of stuff. So.
Lots of unpacking. Guys, thank you very much for your continued support. 2021, it's going to be a big year for Oops the Podcast. We love all of you. Keep sending your emails, oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. We're trying to get our YouTube cooking, baby. So, fire up the subscriptions, give us some comments, interact with us any way you can. We love hearing from you. We love the community that we have. And it's been great. So, Francis, anything to add to that?
That's it. Thank you all so much, and we will see you very soon. Thank you for watching that video. If you liked it, there are plenty more where that came from. Click on this link, and also please like and subscribe our YouTube channel.
Oops.